And alright, let's get this game started. We have Easy and Lethal Pi playing as the allies on the left side of Vo Farmlands here, up against Run to the Sun and Symbiosis playing as Mixed Axis over there on the right side. Good luck, have fun being exchanged by both teams. Good to see some good sportsmanship. And we will have Folks Grenadier start from Run to the Sun. Run to the Sun, of course, has been #1 as Over Commando West 1v1s for some time. Very talented player. Symbiosis, also a very good player. Been a big name in the community for a long time, I believe. And we do see him playing as Allstars, going with MG42 first. And we actually saw a game by these two players not long ago on my channel. I don't know if you caught it, where they did the exact same build, Symbiosis going MG42, MG42 Mortar. But that was on Minsk Pocket, and I certainly think it would be more effective there than it will be here. I think it could be challenging to pull off here, but we'll see how it goes for him. We do have Run to the Sun going double Folks Grenadier and scouting ahead with his SWS half-track. Meanwhile, over here, the allies, Lethal Pi, going to be going with double Conscripts and Special Rifle Command, probably going straight into a scout car once he has 190 manpower required. Or possibly not, possibly saving for penals. Guess we'll see what he decides to do. And Easy going with 3 conscripts, no base structures constructed yet, so double Soviets, lots of conscripts hitting the field. MG42 is about to encounter the very first conscript squad here. It's not set up just yet. Oorah going off, very nice. And he will be able to make it outside the arc of fire and into the building. Now that he's taken up a position in the building, MG42 will be forced to reposition and Run to the Sun's Folks Grenadiers are just going to continue firing from their position in open cover. It looks like the building takes heavy damage from a ram from the SWS supply half-track. And Symbiosis' second MG42 is set up to catch them as they're about to get pushed by the half-track. And they will be forced to make a retreat. Meanwhile, down here in the south, conscripts are about to encounter these Stern Pioneers. He's actually going to try to oorah past them for the building, but I don't know if it's going to work. Run to the Sun dealing some pretty decent damage. They do make it for the building and take no casualty, 2 casualties, excuse me, on their entry. But with only 2 windows on this side, I think that those conscripts will get forced out. And he already knows this and has decided to simply retreat. So that maneuver failed. It's good to see him not being too stubborn about it though, and just sticking in the building and trying to stick it out and win. He knew that the engagement was lost and opted to simply cut his losses, so I think that was a good response to that situation, even if his initial judgment wasn't so great. We will see battle group headquarters going up here from Run to the Sun. This is a pretty good position, I think. It's quite difficult to position an AT gun or anything to destroy it. First of all, this truck will block the first couple of shots until it's destroyed. And in general, it's just difficult to assault this area, especially when you have a teammate supporting you with MG42s. So this is pretty much going to be, I think, where the rest of the game takes place, as the allies have taken the north area of the map largely unopposed, as the Axis set up what will probably be an almost impenetrable defense right here. And we'll see if the allies are able to, how well they're able to respond to that. We will note that this area isn't really much of a defense of any particularly important points. The munitions point is right here, it's somewhat far away though. The allies could still reasonably take that. And the fuel point is all the way down here. Certainly it'll be easier for Run to the Sun to get to that fuel point than the allies, but there's something to consider. A nice cutoff being pulled off, by the way, by Easy, taking the 2 strategic points right outside of the Axis base, cutting off all resource income for them, forcing Symbiosis, or possibly Run to the Sun, mostly Symbiosis it looks like, to respond, try and get some of that territory back under control. And that's one of the weaknesses that this strategy has, I think. On Minsk Pocket, it's almost impossible to cut off their resources, but on this map in particular, it certainly can be done. I almost think that Easy could have stuck around a little longer, gotten some harassment out on those Grenadiers. Maybe if he had built himself a sandbag position or something, he could have continued to deny that resource income a little bit longer. We also should take note of this Teller mine going down right here. Kugelwagen and MG42 firing on conscripts in this house. I'm not sure what he hopes to accomplish by garrisoning that building. He's going to be forced away quite quickly. There he goes. Looks like we have a support weapon Campanaya being constructed by Easy as well, and his first Maxim is about to hit the field. Good to see that. He has gone with 4 conscripts and 2 combat engineers, so pretty heavy investment into just his base core infantry, and I think that paid off a little bit here as he was able to take such great map control and harassment. But now that he's been pushed back, it is going to leave him with not necessarily that much firepower, so hopefully we'll be able to see him take advantage of that boosted resource income, or at least that reduced Axis income. Nice flame burst on that Volksgrenadier squad, but unfortunately he's forced back. He couldn't chase, certainly didn't feel safe going in to chase that lone squad past a MG42 and a Grenadier. Grenade goes into that building, forcing those conscripts to retreat, so we will have some light map harassment here on the north munitions point. Fortunately, the Allies have not quite managed to retake this munitions. Lethal Pi's micro, of course, being focused mostly on his scout car. It's a very micro-intensive unit to make sure it doesn't get taken out and to try and inflict maximum casualties with it. Plus, the MG42 is defending there. We will see Panzer Fusiliers chosen by Run to the Sun, or Storm Officer rather. So Breakthrough Doctrine has been chosen. We could see a Yag Tiger in the future.
Engineer squad. We are bleeding, comrade. We are taking fire! Man down! We serve!
Conscripts being focused down by Grenadiers here. Conscripts moving up over here. Maxim does hit the field, so they will know that their opponent has gone with a support weapon Campanaya. Ooh, we also have seen a 222 from Symbiosis hitting the field there. Oh, Tellermine hits that scout car. Or the scout car hits a Tellermine, rather. Unless that was a shoe mine. I'm not sure. I guess that was probably a shoe mine. I didn't quite catch it. Kuba Wagon trying to chase, but it's not going to be able to do anything. Those engineers will almost certainly be fine. So the scout car does go down, and it looks like he's actually... It looked like he was trying to destroy it because it was in his way. I don't know. But Run to the Sun can salvage it, so that would be a strange thing to do. Maybe that was a misclick. I don't know. I'm not sure what that was. Kuba Wagon moving back. The map harassment continues from Easy, though. It looks like he's even going to possibly go for a cutoff again, because the cutoff is still really not defended at all. He could definitely circle around and grab that if he wanted to. And we will see Tier 3 constructed. Very nice. So not necessarily just holding out for calling spam, which I honestly don't think would work that well against this. I think it's very important to just hit the field with the medium armor as quickly as you can, and the T-34 is your best way to do that. So that's probably going to be hitting the field as soon as he's got 100 fuel, or maybe even go for a T-70, which would be refreshing to see. I certainly think the T-70 is a very good unit. A lot of people don't like it because they feel it doesn't necessarily have that good of a role when the T-34 can be purchased for just 30 fuel more, because the T-34 will give you slightly better utility against enemy medium armor, such as Panzer IVs. But in this particular situation, I think the T-70 would be an excellent purchase. There is a mortar half-track that it could destroy. There is a 222. And there's really no sign of teching up from Symbiosis, so they don't have to worry about medium armor. Especially when you see this mortar half-track, that means that his Panzer IV, should he choose to get one, is going to be significantly delayed. And of course the Oberkommando West have no medium armor, unless they go elite armor, which never happens. So I think a T-70 would be an excellent purchase in this particular game. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like that's what we're going to see. Easy is, of course, going with the T-34, going to be hitting the field very soon. Hopefully he's able to make good use of that. Pretty heavy fighting going on here in the middle. Somewhat surprising, actually, that this munitions has been in the Allies' hands for pretty much the whole game, and this one has been in Axis' hands for the whole game, despite them being on opposite sides of the map from each other. 222 doing some light harassment at range. It's not able to do all that much. Having only 3 kills, it will be hitting Bet 1 soon, though. Mortar half-track also firing away. Only one kill there. Hasn't quite been able to get any good shots off because, of course, the Allies don't have very many static units, barring the Maxim and field gun. Some harassment happening up here. Ooh, depending on positioning, that could be a dead Grenadier squad. Oh, it looks like he may not have reacted in time. I think that Grenadier would survive if he detonated. He's probably seen it at this point. Oh, nope. I was wrong. I was wrong. That Grenadier did not survive, and he just donated an LMG to the Allies. Hopefully, a conscript squad will be sent to retrieve that soon. Otherwise, it looks like those Volksgrenadiers will be getting it. T-34 could go in hard. I'm not sure if anything is available to stop it right here. I don't see a pack. I don't see anything that could snare. Instantly kills the 222. Mortar going to try to get away. The smoke from the dead 222 will, of course, cover his retreat. And the T-34 is not going to chase. Instead, he's going to pull back, try and kill those Volksgrenadiers that did, in fact, manage to recover that LMG-42. Very nice. Very nice recovery of that weapon despite losing that full squad to that. Very nice demo charge, by the way. Definitely good positioning there. Salvage going up on the dead scout car. Looks like they will manage to complete that before taking 2 severe casualties. Sniper hitting the field as well from Lethal Pi's Special Rifle Command. Very nice. Pack does hit the field now, and it looks. So the T-70 can give the looks. They're a pretty even match. I think the T-70 has the advantage; it will generally win, but it takes time and micro. So the T-34 is certainly a much harder counter to the looks, and we'll see if he's able to put that to good use. Of course, now with this pack on the field, it's going to be very dangerous to dive this territory. Probably not something that they can really do, at least not a frontal assault. Shock troops hitting the field as well. Pretty serious Allied force pushing for the center. It's unfortunate to see so little harassment happening down here for the south. This really is the more important area. If the Allies don't think that they're going to be able to completely unseat this defensive position by just overwhelming it and forcing a full-on retreat, it's probably almost pointless to just keep hurling units at it. It doesn't really accomplish much of anything. It would be better to see some harassment for the southern territory, or maybe even just a full-on push with the T-34 to support. But unfortunately, they're just kind of struggling to grab these munitions points back, which is going to be really hard when there's a defensive line like this set up. MG-42 forces a retreat from those engineers. Kubelwagen and MG-42 firing on anything that peeks its head out, really. T-34's not even moving. I think he just doesn't quite know what to do with it. Ooh, but there is a Katyusha hitting the field. Very nice. Unfortunately, it looks like he fired from quite long range. Ooh. So the spread's going to be quite random. Doesn't really hit anything, although he does inflict quite heavy damage on the pack. And because the pack had to reposition, that may have actually been a good time for him to charge with the T-34 and try and take some shots at the half-track while it was moving, but now it's been set back up again. It will be difficult. Shock troops throwing down smoke, trying to get the central victory point back under control. Sniper shot also firing on the Sturmoffizier, forcing a retreat as he picks off the officer model. Panzer Grenadiers do have Panzer Shreks equipped and now are moving up. Volksgrenadiers also here in the back, so that T-34 is probably going to take some nasty hits here. Ooh. Oh! That shot, though. 3 out of 4 Panzer Grenadiers instantly blasted by the tank. So Katyusha has only inflicted 2 kills. I think the Katyusha is definitely a good choice against this particular strategy. So many static units that it could definitely pummel into submission over the course of the game, and he will be following the Katyusha up with an Su-85, and it's good to see him taking advantage of tier 4 units instead of just holding out for ISUs, 12 command points, and spamming them to the end of the game. Of course, if he were to try to do that, I'm not sure that they would really be able to survive. 12 command points is really far away, and their map control is just not that great. And that would definitely turn this game into a real slugfest. So good to see him going with some earlier tech. It's definitely good to see that. Symbiosis is finally getting his support armor core. That's good. We'll see what he purchases out of that. Looks will manage around the corner. We could see an amazing attack ground though. Oh, the shot misses. I think he somewhat misjudged where that looks would be. Run to the Sun does barely manage to outmaneuver it. Meanwhile, mortar fire continues. Lots of bleed and harassment being inflicted there. The mortar already has 7 kills. Wow, and it's going to be Vet 1 soon, so it's definitely doing quite nicely. I don't even know if he's used it to barrage yet. I certainly haven't seen any incendiary mortar fire. Oh. Looks like he fired that barrage directly on the medic truck. Unfortunately, there's not really anything nearby. But doing that, if you're going to fire blind, firing on a truck is a good idea because it means even if you hit no units, you have inflicted significant, actually, damage to the truck itself, and it's going to keep those Stern Pioneers busy repairing. And if you barrage them while they're repairing, that can be devastating as well. So you have to fire blind because you don't want to waste any. You don't want it to have any downtime. You want to keep it firing. Then firing on a truck is, of course, a guaranteed return on investment. So no surprise to see that. Map harassment continuing to happen over here on this cutoff point, but we do have a cache as well as the Schwer HQ protecting the other cutoff now, so pretty much all opportunity to take that has passed. It's the 15-minute mark. Cutting off territory is no longer really an option. SU-85 is really bullying that looks, just can't do anything, which is good to see. It's certainly much more mobile than a field gun. But unfortunately, it looks like he doesn't quite have a line of sight on any of these vehicles. Not really doing anything right now. T-34 also hasn't been doing too much other than defending Soviet territory, just sort of circling around looking for openings. I think he knows that an all-in assault with that tank could just be suicide at this point. There is actually still only 1 pack on the field, as far as I know, because Symbiosis teched up and went with a Panzer IV. Which is good to see. The mortar half-track, of course, is extremely indicative of spearhead doctrine, so no surprise that he's chosen that. Katyusha barrage going off, potentially hitting some of these infantry. No, not really. Not really hitting anything, unfortunately. And the shot against the Panzer IV bounces. These munitions will fall back into Axis hands. And we did see an incendiary barrage fired from this mortar half-track, taking out that building. It's now up to 14 kills. It's definitely having the impact that Symbiosis was hoping for. Lots of bleed, lots of micro being forced upon his enemy to dodge its fire, whereas he can simply sit it behind that house, pretty much AFK, but possibly take control of it for a priority barrage or a priority incendiary strike. So it's doing very nice. It's positioned in a very defensible way. I think this area is very hard to assault, and I think that's why they set up that battle group headquarters there. And it's, like I said before, somewhat unfortunate that the Allies aren't taking advantage of how incredibly undefended this area is. Certainly a counterattack would be mobilized by the Axis, but it would be much easier to punch through that than to just keep throwing units at these defensive lines. T-34 harasses up here in the north, forcing away Minesweeper squad, actually, so that's good. The Allies fiercely defending what territory they do have. Oh, nice grenade. Almost wiping that Grenadier squad, but these mortars really hurt. Field guns also taking a lot of damage, has to move back. Mines going down up here in the north, good to see that. And unfortunately, the Katyusha barrages haven't really come through for them. Only 3 kills, despite, I think, 4 barrages, or maybe only 3. We actually have a second Katyusha hitting the field. So I think it partly comes down to where the range on the barrage, partly comes down to what exactly it is he's chosen to fire at, and of course, just randomness. Not sure what that one was aimed at. That's not going to hit much. It does manage to almost clear that Rakettenwerfer. Oh, it does clear the Rakettenwerfer, as he did fire 2 barrages. Still, continuing to fire blind. He didn't fire blind on a truck, so not able to really maximize his kills with these. Only 7 kills combined between 2 Katyushas versus 22 kills on 1 mortar half-track. And a mortar half-track is a call-in that only costs 40 fuel, whereas 2 Katyushas is a massive fuel investment for Lethal Pi, so it's unfortunate that he's not getting much of a return on that investment. I think it's a good unit to purchase to counter this strategy, but just tactically I think he hasn't quite positioned the barrages quite correctly, and he hasn't gotten quite lucky enough.
Standing by.
And it would be good to possibly even see some kind of recon run, maybe, to identify priority targets. We will note that Lethal Pi has access to a recon overflight as he's chosen counterattack tactics, so we'll also probably be seeing a B4 from him quite soon. And Easy does not have access to a recon overflight as he's gone with an ISU-152 doctrine. I believe this one is guard motor coordination. But of course it is a strategic decision whether you want to fire it as frequently as possible, always firing it when it comes off cooldown, or only firing it at priority targets like blobs of infantry or vehicles that are being repaired, and must of course stay stationary to get repairs. Hope for a lucky shot against the repairing Sturm Pioneers or Pioneers. Oh, devastating barrage right there. Like I said, it does come down to randomness just as much as positioning, and the very first volley of rockets wipes a Volksgrenadier squad. Ouch. Nice push by those Grenadiers, though, forcing the Katyushas to reposition. They don't want to get Fausted and then destroyed, possibly by an aggressive Lux, possibly by an aggressive Panzer IV. Who knows what might happen. So good attempt anyway by those Grenadiers, but of course Lethal Pi was quite quick to reposition and got them to safety, and those Grenadiers are going to be forced to soft retreat back to the battle group headquarters here and get some healing done. Lethal Pi still has no B4. He's actually at 73 out of 100 pop cap, so a B4 would put him pretty close to 100, I think. How much is it anyway? It's 15, yeah. So that would put him at 93 if you were to purchase it right now. And it is 600 manpower, so it looks like he's saving for it, but I couldn't say for sure. We actually have quite a lot of resources saved up by Symbiosis, so I would say he's definitely holding out for Tigers at this point. He is going to have access to them quite soon. Oh no! Damaged engine on this T-34, and the Panzer IV does take it out. This Minesweeper will be forced to retreat, which means that one of those mines just got blown up, I think, by those Panzer Grenadiers, but the other one will turn back invisible, possibly going to attack ground. No, will be forced to retreat by this massive Soviet infantry. Meanwhile, Soviet Minesweeper trying to take control of this munitions point. Fortunately, all the craters are making it really difficult for that Lux to hit it, and they will at least be able to retreat safely. Looks like the Allies are reshifting their focus for a push over here in the northern area of the map. Although there are still plenty of units in this vicinity. Interesting to see that sandbag position going up. I'm not sure what motivates that decision. Building static defenses when you're getting harassed so heavily by that mortar half-track probably isn't going to yield you all that much benefit. Of course, it is free, but not sure what it will accomplish. Tiger does hit the field, and it is moving across the north here. Certainly going to force a retreat from those shock troops, especially with Lux support. And with the T-34 already dead, that's going to be one less unit that the Allies have to push this thing away. There are 2 Katyushas, which honestly can't do all that much, so really it's up to a lone Su-85 at this point to contend with that Tiger, and that's going to be really difficult. Unfortunately, the Allies couldn't have the impact they wanted to with their medium armor, or medium tank destroyer, or whatever you want to call it. In earlier minutes of the game. And now there's a Tiger on the field, and things are going to be very difficult until the Soviets can field their own heavy units. If we take a look at Lethal Pi again, the B4 is being constructed, or yep, there it is. Will be done soon. So that will hopefully be able to keep that Tiger off the field force it to get repaired. We'll see what happens, but I'm not sure. Easy, on the other hand, does have an ISU hitting the field. There it is. So the Soviet heavy units are on the way to counter that Tiger. They're not helpless to defend against it just yet. And we'll see. It's going to come down to... I don't know. It's going to come down to who can best utilize the units at their disposal, I think. Ooh. Nasty shot there. Ouch.
Taking fire!
And Katyusha hitting Vet 1. B4 almost completed. The other Katyusha still only has 4 kills, so really not all that close to Vet 1 at all. And like I said before, it would really be good to see some recon overflights from Lethal Pi. He does have 146 munitions. Oh, and just as I say that, recon overflight is coming in. Looks like we actually have a recon coming in from the Axis as well, so both of them need to know what their opponent is doing. The recon planes circle around. Of course, the Allied plane gets shot down just about immediately, landing right there by the Schwer Panzer HQ, which means that the Axis recon is going to pretty much just give free vision of this particular zone of the battlefield. If you want to see it, it looks like... Oh no, excuse me. The Allied plane is the one that survived. Oh, that's weird. Okay, so this is what he's able to see. I have no idea what shot down that Axis plane. Possibly the ISU? Possibly... I have no idea how that happened. Whoa, that was a weird Katyusha barrage. Not sure what he's shooting at there. I think he kind of hit himself a little bit. Snipers moving up behind the shock troop screen, trying to get some kills. Katyusha firing again. Su-85 trying to get some damage off on the Panzer IV. Conscripts charging through the Katyusha barrage to try and get an AT grenade, but he will be retreating. And those grenadiers are also forced to retreat in kind. Panzer IV also being forced back. And I think I heard some B4 shots going on over here. It looks like there was some kind of mass carnage. But the Tiger's fine. So I'm not sure. ISU has 1 kill and some veterancy, so it probably managed to get a few shots off on something. Snipers moving across the south.
Engineers ready. Enemy fire incoming.
And I think another plane just got shot down by... Yeah, it did. It was this half-track. I didn't quite notice the half-track. So all these Axis recon planes are getting shot down by this half-track. Yeah, it has 2 vehicles destroyed, so 2 planes have been shot down. Oh, I think that might have been a devastating B4 shot. I'm not sure. It looks like it was, but maybe there were no squad wipes there. Conscripts moving to do some harassment over here. Probably going to be able to force away those Volks Grenadiers. We actually have a Vet 3 Soviet mortar from Easy, so that's been doing pretty good work. Not quite as good as this 39 kill mortar half-track, but certainly not a bad purchase by any means. SU moving up, trying to take shots at that Panzer IV. And finally, it looks like now that Run to the Sun was forced to make a full retreat away from that B4, the Allies have a bit of an opportunity to take some map back here, but honestly, maybe it's just a little too late. With this Yag Tiger on the field, all Soviet armor is just going to be bullied right off the field, to be completely honest. SU is not going to stand a chance. And if it can get a lucky shot off on a Katyusha, for example, I believe it can one-shot it. So, I'm not sure what kind of entrance he's going to make with this unit, but I suspect it's going to be a pretty devastating one. Tiger continues to have a pretty dramatic impact here. ISU continues to fire on infantry and kind, though unfortunately it looks like it hasn't been utilized much. He hasn't been able to get a good line on his opponent, I guess. And he hasn't really inflicted many kills. Looks like he's hesitant to turn too much. He's just going to sort of move back a little bit, let his Maxim push back those minesweepers. 40 kills on that thing now. Ooh. B4 shot just obliterates both of those buildings. I don't think there were any enemies in the vicinity though, so nothing too catastrophic there. Demo charge right here could be interesting should that go off on anything. Looks, oh, the Looks is dead. No, I think that SU might have gotten it. Yeah, it did. Interesting. Oh, but there's a Stuka on the field to replace it. Forces a retreat from these units here. Oh! Almost perfectly placed in the retreat path, but fortunately the sniper is going to make it away. Looks like counter barrage happening directly on the medic truck. It's not going to inflict any losses particularly though. Looks like Run to the Sun is opting to not even utilize his retreat point anymore. He knows that with 2 Katyushas and a B4 on the field, it's almost suicide to let his units stay there any longer. He's just going to use his actual HQ as his retreat point, probably for the rest of the game. Possibly not though, I guess we'll see what he decides to do. We will see repairs going up on the battle group headquarters. If you try too stubbornly to keep it alive though, you can suffer some pretty serious losses. That being said, there is a Yag Tiger, Yag Tiger on the field, so maybe he will be able to retaliate against some of the enemy vehicles with that. It has revealed itself now, dealing heavy damage to that half-track. He probably doesn't even know what happened to that half-track. He may not have even noticed that it's taking such heavy damage. The SU getting way too aggressive. He wants to follow up on that Panzer IV, but he just can't with a Yag Tiger defending. Unfortunately, he's just going to have to try to finish it off with his own indirect fire, using his B4 possibly to finish it. We do see a recon run happening, which is going to reveal all of these units. Going to reveal the Panzer IV. Where did that land? I definitely heard a B4 shot, but I don't know where it landed. Bombing run also coming in, it looks like. Unfortunately, it completely misses the Yag Tiger. Nothing really manages to hit anything in this area. The recon run does get shot down, so that's unfortunate. Katyusha barrage going off on some of these units here, though. Actually almost taking out the Kubel wagon, of all things. Mortar half-track is pretty much fine, though. Machine gun takes some light damage. Meanwhile, the ISU continues to do work up here. Every squad sent up to harass certainly stands no chance against it. Only up to 7 kills now, though. Can't even compete with this Tiger, which is already up to 17. Ooh. Mostly because I think it really hasn't been used to bombard these positions down here. I don't know why he's using it just to defend the north, when he could have been pounding this battle group headquarters this entire time. He could have been taking shots here in the middle on this mortar half-track. That being said, of course, there's a Yag Tiger right here, so there's only so much he can do. I think he's really just trying to keep his ISU away from where the Yag Tiger is. Heavy damage going out on that Volksgrenadier squad, but it does make it away. Ooh. Now the Yag Tiger has repositioned to counter the ISU. And he is going to big force back. He does make it across the road. Yag Tiger's not really in a position to chase too aggressively. There's also another ISU right here. Should that get spotted by the Yag Tiger, it will probably also be forced to reposition. And the Yag Tiger really is the hardest counter in the game, I think, to the ISU. So he's really struggling to take advantage of it. That being said, this map is so well designed. I honestly think it's the best map in the game. Because of the way it's structured, you don't necessarily have to engage ISUs or Yag Tigers. You can instead look for opportunities in other areas of the map, especially down here. Unfortunately, the Allies and the Axis haven't really chosen to do that. They're just clashing with each other. As hard as they can. Ooh, looks like the mortar half-track got caught by this squad of conscripts, which dies. to take it out, but they do succeed. It is out of control, so it will die in about 3 minutes when it finally collides with something. Oh, Katyusha Barrage actually takes it out, forcing a Stuka to reposition as well, dealing some pretty decent damage to that machine gun. If we take a look now, the Katyushas are up to 13 and 16 kills. Still nothing that impressive. Still having trouble. Oh, the mortar half-track's dead, so I can't check what its kill count was at the point when it died, but it probably had almost 50, maybe more. Soviet mortars are actually doing quite nicely. I almost think that the Soviet mortars are doing better than the Katyushas are. I don't know, I couldn't check that one's kill counter either because it got taken out. Snipers moving up and doing what they can. This one actually has 27 kills. So the snipers are certainly doing very nicely, continually harassing and forcing retreats from these Axis infantry. ISU forces away these Panzer Grenadiers again. Symbiosis constantly being forced to just retreat off the field every time he makes a push somewhere on the map. He's very spread out. You can tell that he's definitely on map control duty, whereas Run to the Sun is more on combat duty here with his Jagdtiger in super entrenched position. We do have assault artillery going off in this sector, so the Katyushas will be forced to reposition. Repairs going up on this ISU and queued up on this Su-85.
Enemy forces are attempting to capture our territory.
Stuka Barrage does heavy damage to that ISU though, and the Jagdtiger does take it out. Snipers sprinting to safety, two Tigers making a heavy push, just steamrolling everything in their path with Jagdtiger support. SU trying to do what it can, field gun getting cleared, and that's going to be forced back. ISU takes heavy damage there, or not heavy damage, but getting forced repositioned by this pack. Maxim trying to force the pack to reposition, but a huge force of Axis armor is just on the way. Field gun, however, does discourage that push. Still, Jagdtiger is doing massive damage to the ISU here. One more shot could finish it. I'm not sure he's going to be able to get in range, though, as he is through dazed by the field gun. Looks like the ISU is going to get away. Conscript's trying to do some light map harassment here, but things are not looking too good for the Allies. We do have an ISU destroyed. We do have the other one heavily damaged. So as far as unit preservation, it looks like Run to the Sun is sitting pretty with his Jagdtiger now at that one. And Run to Symbiosis, two Tigers really almost unharmed and just inflicting massive infantry losses on their opponents as a result. Sadly, the B4 hasn't really done much. It's only got 12 kills, and it doesn't seem to have been targeting the Jagdtiger or other heavy armor, and if it has been targeting them, it hasn't hit them. Still, he does have access to precision strike now. It is 90 munitions to do, but it's extremely accurate. He could potentially wipe out a Panzer IV, could potentially deal heavy damage to anything. It's just going to be a matter of how he decides to use it. Katyusha's moving back up. You can tell Lethal Pi is on heavy indirect fire duty this game, making so many Katyushas, and his two Katyushas in a V4. It probably spends almost the entire game microwaving his indirect fire units. So that being said, of course, Easy is responsible for the Soviet mortars, which shouldn't discount their contribution. This one only, unfortunately, has 6 kills. I'm not sure how many that one had when it died. Stuka firing on this push, it looks like. Possibly over here. Clearing out the mortar. Oh, wiping out a sniper. That was a well-placed barrage. That was very nice. I'm not sure what motivated him to target it like that, but there did happen to be a sniper in the barrage, and that was a lucky break. Soviet recon run coming in once again. Ooh, B4 shot does connect with the Jagdtiger. That was a devastating one. Ouch. One more like that could finish it off. It will be forced back for repairs for sure. Unfortunately, they don't really have anything that can follow up. Plane crashes on the fuel cache almost. Su-85 moving up to take some shots. Ooh, getting some good hits in. Will be forced back though. Look at that. Even at max range, I think all of its shots penetrated, not necessarily doing that much damage though. Does have quite a high rate of fire. ISU moving up to try and follow up. It's awfully close to that Jagdtiger. Unfortunately, I guess they can't quite see each other. Whoa, look at that. Main gun destroyed on the Tiger. Jagdtiger gets revenge with a nice shot. ISU will be forced to reposition. Ooh. Oh, devastating Katyusha barrage on those repairing squads. Oh no. Very nice Katyusha barrage. What a great follow-up to that B4 shot. Oh my goodness, and that Jagdtiger will be forced away. Unfortunately, they just couldn't... Oh, couldn't quite finish anything off. Looks like a B4 was fired blind, but a bit of a misjudgment. You should take note that the Mechanized Regiment headquarters is almost certainly where the heavy armor is going. So, when in doubt, fire there. ISU gets a little bit of field dominance here now that all the heavy armor has been forced away. Panther 4 is still doing some pretty nasty damage down here. We will note that a field gun just got cleared still with 2 SUs chasing it. It'll be fine actually with this Panzer Grenadier screen. There's definitely no way he can chase. This Katyusha actually has 33 kills now, so that one it was a little a slow starter, but it's coming into its own. I hope he doesn't get too aggressive with this ISU though. I know he wants to finish off some of these tanks, but one Jagdtiger shot could be devastating here. He has no idea where it is. It's still pretty out of range. We do have combat engineers repairing it in the field, but it's going to be a while before it gets fully repaired. Soviets don't have... Oh no, Stuka gets caught way out of position! Oh, it does get taken out at maximum range. Very nice play by Lethal Pi. I hope he manages to get to safety. Looks like he will. Unfortunately, this Kuhl wagon is still alive, and even at the 42-minute mark, it's proving to be a nuisance for Lethal Pi to capture this territory here in the middle, getting suppressed. Katyusha is firing on that blob, though. Could be some good shots. The Jagdtiger shot misses on the IS-2, or the ISU, and they actually managed to take control of the central victory point before the clock runs out. As the Katyusha and the B4 just keep on pummeling them. Ooh, ISU wipes a Grenadier squad at max range. Ouch. Grenade going out on the field gun. It is Vet 3 though. Looks like it's still alive. ISU shot misses. They may have managed to clear it, but one ISU shot could wipe out that squad. Jagdtiger pushing up very aggressively. Oh, and that Su-85 just got taken out at maximum range, I think, by that Jagdtiger, but another ISU is hitting the field, making a push for the middle here. Oh, nice shot. Jagdtiger retaliates, though, dealing some pretty nasty damage. ISU also taking shots. I think that Grenadier squad may have just gotten wiped, actually. I don't see anything retreating. Oh, no, there it is. It's fine. He may try and brute force that Jagdtiger down. Ooh. Or he's just moving up to try and take shots on the infantry. Yeah, I think he may just try and finish the Jagdtiger off with just ISU fire, but I don't know if it's going to work. Oh, there goes that one. A shot in the rear from the Tiger combined with the Jagdtiger shot to the front. Just, it's too much. There's another Jagdtiger shot. Oh, jeez, those ISUs are just getting bullied. It looks like Run to the Sun wants to chase. Tiger's at full health, so it's certainly going to be fine. Jagdtiger is chasing. I don't know if he's going to get a shot off on any of this armor here. No, he's going to reposition, and one B4 shot could end that Jagdtiger's reign of terror.
Guard squad ready.
It is Vet 3, but I think he just doesn't know exactly where it is. And Lethal Pi doesn't have the munitions to keep calling in recon runs, unfortunately. And it's interesting that he keeps on making Su-85s instead of KV-1s. I'm not saying it's a bad decision. It's just a strategic decision on his part to go for tank destroyers rather than armor, leaving his army somewhat brittle, but trying to maximize his effects at range. Certainly nothing wrong with that. Ooh, B4 shot goes off on the battle group headquarters. Unfortunately, I think he didn't quite know what was happening here. Lots of repairs happening at very high speed on that Jagdtiger, and unfortunately that's going to be back in full health the next time they encounter it. Looks like Lethal Pi is trying to take advantage of the fact that it's been pushed off the field with these Su-85s, inflicting some pretty respectable damage actually on this Tiger, but the clock is ticking once again, and Symbiosis has actually managed to send a force all the way to the top victory point here, and I think that that is probably going to conclude the game unless the Allies can pull off a miracle. They don't really have nearly the repair potential that their opponents do. Lots of artillery going off though. Oh, a bombing run actually gets called in. So desperately are the Allies clinging to that victory point. They do not want to lose it. We actually have a T-34 getting called in of all things. Interesting to see him switching back to some medium armor here. I guess he doesn't think that he has time to be calling in another ISU. And the Jagdtiger will be forced to reposition. Massive damage being inflicted. Oh, that B4 shot lands perfectly. One more shot from an SU could finish the job. He wants to, but he just can't with these Tigers screening. Oh no. That is the end of that SU, but just look at the massive damage being inflicted here. Anything could just penetrate. The T-34 shot from behind actually destroys the main gun, but the other Tiger circles around that ISU and finishes it off. That Tiger also gets finished off. There is a field gun here trying to do some harassment on the Tiger, but meanwhile, in the midst of all of this heated combat, the clock continues to tick. Only 5 points remain. This Tiger could go down, though. I don't know. If all these shots keep bouncing, possibly not. And it just doesn't matter. GG, well played, being exchanged. And that's going to conclude the game, and it looks like that Tiger is in fact going to escape. Wow, so that was quite a slugfest. Only 47 minutes, so I guess I've seen worse. And that Jagdtiger just got away with just a tiny sliver of health so many times. If just anything had gone slightly different for the Allies here. B4 shot landed slightly more on target. Katyusha rocket just slightly more on the Jagdtiger rear armor or something. Who knows what might have happened. Pretty close one, I thought. If only that Jagdtiger had gone down, I think that a Soviet comeback could have been possible. Still, with the victory points in the state that they were in, and of course Run to the Sun's resources in the state they were in, he certainly could have just called it another one, so maybe not. It would have been very difficult, I think, for the Allies to tip that one back in their favor, so that was a good match. That will conclude match 1 between these two teams.